And here is a very frank piece of truth. If they don't like you, the deal won't happen. Even if what you put together is better than someone else. If they can't imagine you owning their business, if they don't like you, the deal won't happen. The confidence comes from knowing the process. You have to know more about buying a business than the seller knows about selling the business. I'm here to tell you that one deal can change your life. The challenge is, how do I communicate in a way to the owner that sets me up as a professional, that allows me not to self-sabotage the rest of the conversation? If I've never done it before, doesn't put me into a disadvantaged situation, and sets the tone for the conversation to come that allows me to negotiate in the strongest possible way. And I'm going to be giving you some examples along the way of how to do it and how not to do it. Putting your best foot forward and getting off to a good start. If we can get off to a good start when we're having a conversation with the owner, then everything else just becomes a little bit easier thereafter. See, you are the face of the deal. You are the person that they are doing the deal with. So can we now agree to forget about clever names for holding companies and about your SPV that you just set up? No one cares. They care about the relationship with you. And here is a very frank piece of truth. If they don't like you, the deal won't happen. Even if what you put together is better than someone else. If they can't imagine you owning their business, if they don't like you, the deal won't happen. Just give me a nod and a smile if you're in agreement with it's all about personality. It's all about you. You don't have to be an outrageous extrovert. It doesn't matter. But you have to be likable to the person that you're talking to. Now, here's another thing. You're not going to win them all. It's just, you might be surprised to know that some people don't like me. It's crazy, right? But some people, I'm not their cup of tea. But other people, I am their cup of tea. So it's about talking to the right people at the right time in the right way. So however good you are at the spreadsheets, if you haven't got that personality bit in there, it's not going to work. And those first impressions shape everything. Now, who can tell me when the first impression will start to be formed? When does that first impression? From what moment? As soon as you open your mouth? Yes. Which is typically when they call you because they've received some sort of communication from you. And they call you, and that first contact is where they start assessing. So we've got to be reassuring. Now, I'm going to be pretty prescriptive, actually, with the way I think that you should be doing this. I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of conversations with owners of businesses. The majority go nowhere. The minority go somewhere. So you've got to do this a lot to get really good at this. So the first thing is, you need to be confident. Now, you might be thinking right now, Jonathan, I don't have the self-belief. I'm just starting out. I'm a beginner. I don't have the confidence. Well, let me tell you where the confidence comes from. The confidence comes from knowing the process. You have to know more about buying a business than the seller knows about selling the business. If you know more about buying it than they know about selling it, you're going to be okay. If you're in a situation where they know more about selling a business than you know about buying it, then you're going to be struggling, okay? So you get your confidence from knowing the process. Appearance and presentation. So this is partly when you do face-to-face meetings, and actually mostly when you do face-to-face meetings. But I think the way you present yourself, just from the way you answer the phone, sometimes I've noticed that people have almost like a throat clearing. They get a little bit hesitant in those first few words. What you need to do is to listen to yourself and say, am I one of those people that does like a throat clearing hesitancy before I get into a conversation, or do I cut straight to the chase? You want to be one of the people who has the clean communication where you start saying what you want to say straight away and you don't start apologizing for the traffic noise. And starting off what is effectively a negotiation to buy someone's business with an apology is really poor positioning. I have noticed that the most successful business buyers have what we call clarity of intent. Clarity of intent is where you know exactly where you want to go. So you will appreciate that we talk a lot of mastermind about having the end goal in mind and working backwards to where you want to be. In fact, actually, in the members area, in the training videos, you can work out the number that you want to achieve and work backwards to how many deals you need to do. Because it's really easy to listen to people in the inner circle do 5 deals and 10 deals and 15, and where are you up to, John? You're up to 17 deals, and think you've got to go and do 17 deals. I'm here to tell you that one deal can change your life. One deal can change your life. So maybe you don't need to do 17. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you probably don't. You could just do one, and that will have a life-changing effect for you, okay? So the clarity of intention means that when you're speaking to the owner on the phone, I have absolutely a laser-like intention of I am speaking to them because I want to assess as quickly as possible, is this a business that I'm interested in? And here is a very important number 2 that most people miss, which is this someone that I can do a deal with? Now, why are the two things different? Well, it could be a business that you're interested in, but what happens if the owner has incredibly disconnected from reality expectations? What if the owner is someone who is just very aggressive and very bullish, and it's like, make me an offer and I'm not leaving my house unless you put £5 million and deposit, all these ridiculous. So you're looking for not just the right business to buy, but the right owner to do a deal with. And I would say that the manner that you need to adopt is this calm, professional energy. It's where you are going to control the pace of the conversation. If you want to find out how to buy a business successfully, get your free business buying toolkit. The link is in the video description below. There is no doubt for most people, the hardest deal is which one? The first one. Why is it the hardest deal? No track record, no experience, no credibility, perhaps, no self-belief. You haven't proven to yourself that you can do it. And you ask anyone who's bought multiple businesses, they say, when you've done that first one, suddenly the floodgates open, you realize that anything is possible, okay? So what we want to do here is we want to establish credibility if you've got the track record, but also credibility if you don't have the track record. Strategic language. This is around saying, we have an interest in a number of businesses, and we thought yours might be interesting. So what are you doing when I say those two things? What's happening here? We have an interest in a number of businesses. What is that telling them? I've got options. Options, absolutely. There's a possibility that we might be interested, but it's not a dead cert, and we've got other options. So what are we doing here? We're setting up a dynamic where the owner is going to sell to us rather than us sell to the owner. I can tell you right here, right now, if you feel you have to go into one of these conversations and prove yourself, we need to shift your mindset. Because what we need to do is to show you that in actual fact, they need to prove themselves to you. And when you get that shift in mental dynamic, what happens is that the confidence level increases. All of these things are intertwined. And you need to speak with certainty. Now look, we all have different speech patterns. We all speak in different ways. And how you communicate in your day-to-day life is entirely up to you. But I would say, though, if you're going to be speaking to the owners of businesses who are potentially going to hand over their business baby that's been theirs for the last 30 years, they need to be certain in you. And the fastest way for someone to be certain in you is for you to be certain in yourself. Clear, concise responses. One of the mistakes that I see people make all the time is they talk too much. They overshare. They say too many things. They add in too much detail. All we're doing in this first 30-minute conversation, remember, the first telephone conversation is 30 minutes. Oh, by the way, I see this sometimes in the LinkedIn group. Don't Zoom in the first conversation. Don't Zoom. Just a phone call is fine. Okay? Phone call, face-to-face meeting, about 7 days apart. Okay? No more than 7 days. Yeah, if we can do it 3 days away, that's even better. But 30 minutes on the phone, you haven't got time to go into a load of detail. What you need to understand is some basic numbers, some basic ideas about their motivation, because we're establishing, number one, is this a business I'm interested in buying? And number two, which is this someone that I can buy a business from? Is this someone I can do a deal with? And every question you ask them has to be a question with purpose. Don't distract yourself with irrelevant questions that don't move you forward in the decision-making process. I want you to imagine that at 30 minutes, that phone call is going to be cut off. So you've got 30 minutes to find out the information that you need to assess the situation. And if you waste 7 minutes of it talking about your golfing holiday, you're wasting time. You think you're building rapport. I don't think you are. This is a business call. Your rapport is built by having the confidence, having the clarity, having the certainty, speaking with a smile, good tonality. That is where the rapport. Because they are imagining is this someone who can follow through on a deal, someone who can deliver, and could this be someone who could own my business in the future? I would say that the number one personality skill that new business buyers should adopt is curiosity. Be curious. You've just had an amazing year. You're talking to me about selling your business. Why is that? Those of you who've done this for a while know that every business owner has an amazing year the year that they're selling the business. And next year is just going to be better, right? Have you heard that? Yeah. And next year is going to be better. It's just going to get better and better. It's just going to go through the roof. It's incredible. But you're selling now. Of course you are. Be likable but never needy. Now, it's a fine line, to be fair, because you don't want to appear to be desperate. Sometimes new business buyers tell me that they are quizzed by the owner. And they said it felt like the owner was interrogating me on the phone. I didn't know what to say. I broke into a sweat. I panicked, and I had to end the conversation. Don't worry if that's happened to you. It's perfectly normal. And the reason why it happened to you is because you didn't take control of the conversation right at the start. When you take control of the conversation, you need to be asking the questions. If you're asking questions and they are answering them, then you have the control. And if someone is asking you lots of questions, I'm absolutely fine with you saying, oh, that's a really good question. Well, the short answer is, fill you in on the rest later, but let's talk about the most interesting thing here, which is your business.